A very good evening and welcome to all of you to the 28th webinar on ICFI's Wise Views Interactive Webinar Series this Friday. This is an extremely special webinar and we have a guest who is extremely special to us. We are quite fortunate that Mr. Bezwada Wilson has agreed to speak in our webinar today. On behalf of ICFI Group and on behalf of all of you around the screen, I take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Bezwada Wilson to this webinar. Good evening and welcome, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm quite delighted to see you here, and you have added a lot of value with your presence here for the entire series that we have been conducting over the last 6.5 months. Every Friday, we do some kind of leadership conversation. And today you have strengthened the efforts and also lent a great meaning to what we have been planning to do and what we will do in future. Thank you once again, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, what I will do now is very quickly, I will introduce the guest. Before that, I request all of you to stabilize your videos and also mute your audio to the extent possible. Let's not have any noise. And I'm quite thankful for all the members who have participated, who have just joined in from across the country, various cities and towns. Your enthusiasm is quite interesting, and I'm very, very thankful that you have shared your questions and you have participated like before with greater vigor this time. And I can see people from variety of backgrounds, from education, from industry, from social work, from engineering background, from India and from abroad, some of the members from the United States. Thank you all for joining. I will now take the pleasure of introducing the guest. As I mentioned, this is our esteemed guest today, Mr. Bezwada Wilson. He's going to speak on leadership for social impact and perspectives or the lessons that we learn from Safai Karmacharis. So initially there will be a talk delivered by Mr. Bezwada Wilson that will be for about 20-25 minutes. And then we will have another half an hour of questions and answers. It will be moderated by my esteemed colleague, Professor Prasad, and myself. These questions are collected from all the members who are participating today. At the time of registration, you have shared these questions. It has been now clustered into a particular sequence, and meaningful clustering is done so that we have a structured Q&A and we get the maximum out of the esteemed presence of the guest today with us. We are also joined by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Mahendra Reddy. A hearty welcome to Professor Mahendra Reddy and everyone who have joined this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Bezwada for you, and here is the introduction from my side. Mr. Bezwada Wilson is the national convener of Safai Karmachari Andolan, which is an organization that has been campaigning against eradication of manual scavenging in this country. Mr. Wilson graduated in political science from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, Hyderabad, and since then he's been involved in community service, especially youth programs. Some of the campaigns like in which Mr. Bezwada Wilson involved was writing a letter writing campaign against manual scavenging, contacting the Kolar Goldfields, the KGF authorities, the ministers and the Chief Minister of Karnataka and the Prime Minister in newspapers. In line with those campaigns in 1993, the Parliament enacted the Employment of Manual Scavengers and Construction of Dry Latrines Prohibition Act in 1993, which is a major achievement, which is a result of sustained campaign put up by Mr. Bezwada Wilson through Safai Karmachari Andolan. This signaled banning of dry latrines and outlawed the practice of manual scavenging. Mr. Bezwada worked for 2 years to abolish manual scavengers in Karnataka with a platform called CAMS, Campaign Against Manual Scavenging. He oversaw the conversion of dry latrines into flush toilets and rehabilitation of those who were engaged in manual scavenging. In the year 2003, Mr. Bezwada and the SKA initiated the filing of a public interest litigation in the Supreme Court of India. The PIL was a major step in the efforts to abolish manual scavenging. Even after enacting the law, the practice was still going on. All the states and central ministries were forced to address the issue of manual scavenging through these efforts and through this bill. The liberation of Safai Karmacharis became an important issue during the planning of 12th Five-Year Plan of India in 2010. Mr. Bezwada met with parliamentarians, ministers, and national advisory members during this time and submitted systematic documentation of manual scavenging across the country. His work at Safai Karmachari Andolan has been recognized by the Ashoka Foundation, which has nominated him as a senior fellow. More significantly, in the year 2016, he was honored with the prestigious Raman Magsaysay Award for his contribution in this field. And the citation mentioned some very interesting facts. Raman Magsaysay Award Council has recognized the moral energy and prodigious skill of Mr. Bezwada Wilson in leading a grassroots movement to eradicate the degrading servitude of manual scavenging in India, thereby reclaiming the human dignity of manual scavengers, which is actually their natural birthright. I think these are very strong words and a befitting recognition for the effort that he has put in. I met Mr. Bezwada Wilson in New Delhi a couple of years back in India Today conclave, and on the global stage, he spoke about the fight against this practice of manual scavenging, and he narrated the long and sustained campaign against casteist forces, fascist forces, and also patriarchal forces. I cried while listening to him. Such was the intense speech. Today, we have a great opportunity. We are quite fortunate that he is with us. We can listen to him first and then raise our questions so that we can seek some answers and learn how leadership can be made useful for creating social impact. That is the theme for us, and that is the opportunity for us to learn this evening. So, with your permission, I will invite Mr. Bezwada Wilson. Over to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you so much. And there are many people, you're all waiting that we can just have an interaction. And it is a good that it is a less speaking and more interaction. The session also designed as such. I'm so happy to be part of that. And as Sri Sudhakar Rao has said, and sir, I met and I still remember we had a small conversation, and that has led today to come and sit in front of you and just to discuss about various problems which we are all facing. One of such problem is that leadership also. So there are the many problems. The problems are there still after so many years after independence and many things, but still we are now thinking that is there some problems are actually within us and within the communities and within the government and many places. And one thing which I understood in my life is, and we are as a human beings, we are tend to do many mistakes. And we can't think that whatever we are doing is the only correct and all other things are wrong. So when we are looking in this direction and moving, definitely there is a hope that one day we will realize that what are the mistakes we have done. And once we realize, then actually the process of the rectification, everything will emerge. For me, such things happened in the life is actually when I first came to know that I am in a kind of a person who born in the family where the family is traditionally involved in the scavenging or sanitation related occupation, and particularly untouchability. So that realization, it happens for the each and every person in the life. It is not just for me, it happened like it, everybody happens. We'll understand that I am a male, I am a female also, that it happens. And people also. And even if I forget about that I am a male, people will remind me that no, you are not a girl, you are a boy, like. So it is in a society also makes all of us to understand what we are, and we also understand that what we are. So here the problem is there are certain things which is very illogical, irrational, which they put on us and they will ask us to believe that. Like I said that I born into the family that untouched. So what is untouchable? Somebody is not touching me or my family. That does not mean that I have to believe that and I also declare myself I am untouchable. So this internalization of the certain things which we don't like also, it happens in the life. It everybody's life. It is not happening in just my life. But my problem here is the things which I encountered or I faced in my life is such a things which I cannot forget and which I cannot deal, which I cannot escape. It is a kind of a vicious circle. I can't escape and I can't forget. And I have to just feel each and every day about that. It happens for everybody in the life. But my encounters are happen without my interventions, without my acceptance of. Like I become like a, just like that. People think about me something like. So first in the sense, I feel that I want to be more strong. So parents also given that kind of a strength and the stamina to be a stand very strong and state that, yes, I am like you. What wrong is there like? So that a person can do or go like that for certain point of time. But the problem here is the society and others neighbors. They will not allow us to believe whatever we believe strongly. So they put their opinion on us. And that opinion will become actually my life. That is a major problem I found. So somebody says that I am a Bangi or Toti or Paki or something, which is actually their opinion. Because I have never did this scavenging. Actually, my mother's dream is I should not touch the any kind of a such filth or anything. And I should not even use the broom. And I have to be like all others. So because their whole lifetime they were doing that. So they want to keep the child out of that. You ask in the country, any women who are doing scavenging. So they will say first number one, what to do. This is my life I am doing. So which means we think that they are accepted. But that is not true. That is a gut feeling. Because centuries together, we made the certain communities not to even discuss about that openly. They come in the early morning, clean, and the toilets are behind the houses. So they come clean and go. So we can't even see them. So many of us, we may not even know the name of the person who is coming and cleaning our toilet and going. So that there isn't a community which cannot even have their own identity. So such people to come out and establish their own identity. Which identity? The identity is very derogatory identity. So you have to say that I am a Palana, I am so and so like. So that creates a very difficult for any human being. So this identities and the crisis to come out, it taken some time for me. But my life has changed a point of time in the sense it is changed for the good or bad. I can't say even now. I encountered with the person cleaning the human excreta like that. So I felt that I strongly, every child is an equal. The good thing with the children is they are very clear. Their heart is very pure. So nothing has spoiled at the age. So we think that everybody is equal life. But in front of me, somebody is coming with the baltis, buckets, and taking the human excreta, carrying and loading. And it is automatically it happens. How my hands are going like this. This is then I want to express like this, I'm doing. There is nothing wrong. Likewise, the human beings in our country or in the society, they clean the human excreta. And everybody, we also keep quiet. And they also feel that what to do more than this. So that situation somewhere disturbed me. And I felt that this is not real good. And we have to grow as a human beings. So the problem here is we have grown to the level that India is in a greatest country, big democracy, and it is in a sovereign country, and we are a sovereign citizens. But the problem is as a human beings, we are not even reached to the level of the just as an ordinary human being. Still we are carrying many things within us. So those things we have not taken out. There are the certain things which is the hatredness, there is a differences, there is a discrimination, there is a stigma. all these still continuing in the society, which is the premier. So once we come out of the actually our problems, then we will also understand that what are the problems are happening. I have some kind of a what I no need to say that innocence. I don't understand the actually certain things. So people say that you are not equal or something. I don't believe that. Even Constitution says that we are all equal. So who are you to say that I am not equal? So I strongly believe that what the Constitution says. And because everybody has to govern and rule by the Constitution line. This a kind of a dilemma and that kind of a confusion in the life. It has become like so difficult when I was just 16 to 15, 16, 17 or 18. This 4 years, it was such a dilemma. I am unable to understand myself and whether to accept or not. During that time only, I felt that it is better to die once upon a time. What to do? I can't accept that what you are saying. Even if I say, if I don't accept, what is the, how does it matter? You will anyhow call me that only. And I can't get anything else also. And parents also very old and they can't help me in that. So that is a helpless situation. That is the time I understood that there is a world, this is something big. It is not just within us or me only part of the world. There are many people like with an hope to be reached. And I must mention here, there are the certain people. One is Dr. Anand Rao. He's also from the Akividu in Machilipatnam, who actually supported and encouraged me. Started telling that, oh, you are talking something very important, interesting thing. And you are questioning this. Oh, good, very good. You have something brightness and good, very good thoughts like that. That's the first time in my life somebody has appreciated what I am thinking. Otherwise, whatever I am thinking, I used to think that I am just useless. Everybody, because everybody says I am useless. So why I am narrating this so much? Because that is what is an actually govern or directs whole my life. Then second important person whom I must mention here is Mr. S.R. Sankaran, retired IAS officer. You must be knowing about because he lived in Hyderabad and he also died in Hyderabad. And he is in a remarkable way. I don't know why. He started relating with an organization which was no any kind of a structure or anything. Then named as a Safai Karmachari with his support only. Then after that only it became. I want to make one point here when we are thinking about the leader. What is actually leader? Leader is the person who carries the pain of the victims, the pain of the ordinary people equally is the leader, nothing else. There is no such a skill is required for the leadership. You have to carry or you have to understand, you have to feel the pain, the equally. Otherwise, you cannot really be a good leader. So likewise, S.R. Shankaran is a person and he made me to understand the world in the different. He made me to understand the government, how it works. Otherwise, when I met almost like 82, in the year 1982, I started thinking and started working. Thinking to much pahle before hote hai, so it has. But after that, 82 started doing small things. We want to change. We want to change. It is not like a only discussion, debate and debate. As Karl Marx said very rightly, that it is not the right way to just think about the society forever in different people life. There is something to be changed. How to change is the matter. So I also felt that okay, we will also try to change something. But it is very difficult in the society. You can do anything, but if you want to change anything, it is highly difficult. But actually, we don't even know that we are in the process of changing or social change or anything. That means we don't know. We realize at later stages. 82 to 92 without any name. In the sense, there was no NGO, no platform, no name, just like that, going one place to another place, talking to the, it is like a gypsy or it is like a somebody mad. Something. So you go here to there, go somewhere, get down there and talk to the people. Then something if you get eat, then come back in the evening and stay in the bus stand somewhere. And next day morning again go. Or if there is a night buses and travel in the, because in the small towns, you won't get the night buses. In the big towns or the cities, you can travel in the night towns. So that is the way many years has gone. Then after S.R. Shankaran only, Safai Karmachari Organization has come. So why I am making this point here is, we don't even require an organization or the platform or a name to actually to do something. I can say that first beginning of the 10 years, whatever we have done, that we are unable to do even now. That is such a remarkable. There was a result also in the Kolar Gold Fields Township, 114 years old, the dry latrines, they have demolished everything. And they made all the rehabilitation of 118 or something scavengers were there during that time. It went to the parliament, big discussion, ministers rushed. That is the time, then I felt that there was no dry latrines and there was no any rehabilitation was pending. And it is a small town and ministers coming and meeting. That unnecessary given a such a popular. And everybody says that who is Bezwada Wilson? Where is he? So people want to go and see me in the toilet. People want to come and go to the police station and find out where is the Bezwada like. So then I felt that this is the right thing to leave this place and move away. Because that you only get the name. So my only submission here is what we are going to take with the name. What we are going to take. Thing is going to take. The only thing is I realized that there are the women who are carrying the human excreta. May not be there during that time in KGF, it has got over Kolar Gold. But across the country, many places I moved. I met one person, his name is Paul Divakar. He's a good friend of. He asked me, what are you doing all this? I explained certain. He was not really what I can say. He felt that it is not possible. What you have done here or there is not possible in the just few years by doing under office also. We are doing since very long many things. Then I told him that you give me just a kind of an information where the people are there, somebody who can just take me to here or there. In all Andhra Pradesh, during that time it was a 23 districts. In all those 23 districts, I will complete within the maximum 6 months. And he was started laughing. I said that not even 6 months, it is a 3 months time you give me, I will complete everything. So he said, what is there to give? I said that you have big NGOs and you have networks, all those things. You give the some address and telephone numbers of somebody. I will go on. He was telling that how it is possible. Friends, I want to actually to see that this is my somebody has just want to write a book or something. I refused last week and the 50 days. Then he started when you started. I said that I don't know exactly, but I know roughly 1982. Then he said that it is your 39th year. When he said only I counted. Then what is there to count? So when I told Paul Divakar, we needed only 3 months to complete. So actually that when I said 3 months, that is in a true Bezwada Wilson, who cannot even bear the women carrying the human excreta on the head more than the 3 months. But it happened due to our society's many problems, 39 years, still in the Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, few parts of the Rajasthan, Jharkhand, Jammu Kashmir, there are the thousands of the women. It is around 1 lakh only. When we started, it is more than 30 lakhs or something that where it was not counted as such. It's estimated number. But still now almost below 1 lakh or around 1 lakh are there in the country. The struggle is going on. This is the way I want to just explain to you. Just before closing, I want to tell about the pool and how it has happened. When 93, when we formed the Safai Karmachari Andolan in 90, then later immediately we felt that collecting the data and going to the other states so much. So what is this actually scavenging? It is a dry littering everywhere it is. And the people come and carry and dispose. And it is happens. And those women will get only hardly 30 rupees, 40 rupees, even 10 rupees per month from one house. Must be cleaning 10 houses, 15 houses. During that time, more houses, even 20 houses like. So monthly income is a 200 to 300 maximum. But it is a kind of a slavery. We also from our community, we think that ye hamara kaam hai. So that others also think that these people can do only this. These two opinions and ideologies and made the people to be a victims for so long when it happened. 93 to 2003, we collected the information. 2003, we went to the Supreme Court to challenge. There was in a 93, there was an act passed by the parliament. We worked for the act also, that is a different thing. Then after that, the Supreme Court accepted our petition. The Chief Justice of the Odisha, Mr. Muralidharan, Justice Muralidharan, he was our advocate during that time. Somehow he argued and it is accepted by the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court has said that, okay, it is a fine and we will issue the notice or something. So I went to the court. That is the day when he argued. So we can't understand the court language. The judge said something and everybody, and within hardly 3 minutes, he said that something and our advocate got up and he spoke. He spoke very lengthy. Later, after that, judge said only 2 words. I could not even hear what he said. After I came back, he said, issue notice to all. That is what he said. But I don't know what it is under. And we came out and I asked the advocate, sir, hum jeet gaya. Sir, have we won the case? He said that what is the one? No, they accepted. Accepted in the sense what, sir? He said that there is a manual scavenging. So I nahi hai that to find out, they issued the notice to everybody. That is what they accepted your petition. So I said that which means we want further. See, we don't know that actually the case will go so long and we have to go and submit the report. I don't know. I went to the court thinking that when we go and tell the judge of the Supreme Court that the human beings are still carrying, and if I show 2 photographs, judge will from there immediately he will run and he will come along with us and he will ask where it is, show me immediately, and he will send everybody to the jail tomorrow morning. That is what you can think that my foolishness, or you can think that my over ambitious or whatever. But that was actually my aspiration, an Indian citizens, a person from the scavenging community, aspiration with the Supreme Court or the judiciary. So then later, when I coming down, then the person said that they accepted your petition, they are going to listen to you. Immediately when he said like that, I started crying. And he said that why? And I said, sir, 20 years before exactly, I went to one sanitary office and there was a sanitary inspector, not even a big officer, inspector, and he was not providing the good bucket and it was leaking. So he asked me to, the people asked me to discuss and get the new bucket. I went to ask that, and the sanitary inspector, he asked me to go get lost from here. Why you are coming here? Why you are disturbing all these things? Then I felt that, sir, I am asking very good questions, sir. We need a good bucket to clean. And in sanitary office, who will be there? Our people will be there. So they literally, they thrown me out. And I went out. And I sat, there was a one tree, banyan tree, very big tree in front of the office. I around about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, something it happened, I don't know. And I sat and I started thinking what I did wrong. I asked a genuine question, why can't they provide the bucket? That was my mistake. I never realized that the whole night I was sitting under that tree and I was thinking that why they can't give you one bucket? It's so big company, why they can't give you one bucket? And they finally they have not heard and thrown me out. But today the Supreme Court is asking all the state government to hear my petition. This is then a greatness of our democracy and judiciary. That is what I cry. After 3 months, all the state government, they filed their affidavits stating that this Safai Karmachari Andolan is a useless organization. They have nothing to do any work. So they filed the false affidavits. There is no manual standing. There are no trial lettings. All this petition is fit to be dismissed immediately. All IAS officers, all big principal secretaries and some secretaries, some chief secretary were also. Everybody. Then I said that, sir, some poor people somewhere they may say lies, but how can the IAS officer can also say lies? That is what my surprise. Then later it was a big fight. It went 11 years in the Supreme Court, and we have taken the photographs, thousands of the photographs. I can show you thousands of the photographs and submitted to the Supreme Court. That was very painful. I want to tell you that very repeatedly. I want to tell. Going to the people who are cleaning and asking them to stop, not to do this. That is our job. But to prove in the court, we have to go and ask the same person, you please come and clean. Because I have to take the photograph, and the photograph I have to submit in the court to prove that you are doing this work. They said that, why can't you call them? I said that they will not come, that I realize now, and you please give them. And they will come and take bucket or the balti or whatever the basket, and they will throw. But I have a very now not like all smartphones. During that time, hot shot that small camera with the great difficulty we got that, and we aim like this, and she dropped, and I could not take in the photograph. So I will ask her again, Didi, please can you do replay for my the person who don't want to see that in the eyes. And I have to ask the same person, you should not drop so forcefully at the fast. You have to do in the slow motion. Aisa rakho. So I'm not understanding how the judiciary or all these officers and the society make us to do the same replay or the kind of things. So these are the things which actually questions and makes me to feel so bad. But to be honest, many things changed. Many women left. They thrown the baskets. And the women who can't even speak a single word in the house, they came out and they given the big slogans. Band karo, Maila Pratha band karo. It was a greatest happiness for me to hear that those women who hide themselves, when I went to see them also, into the streets across the country. And their courage we must salute. Without any rehabilitation, waiting for the rehabilitation 10 years, 15 years, 6 years, nothing happened, but they left. That is the one. Then second is sewage and septic tank deaths. You please understand, in the greatest country, why we still have the scavenging and going the human beings into the man cleaning. It has not stopped, that we have not stopped. And the people are dying. The number of the people who died is almost crossed the 2,000 people. According to our data, 2014, after the Supreme Court judgment, we collect. So this is another area where we are losing the human beings. Their children are on the streets, and it is a very difficult. We are finding so difficult actually answer. And let's say every time and every in our lifetime, we may go for the funeral of the one or two people or our kin and kith and our very close friends, very less. But for me, in this little life, I have already attended more than the 200, 300 funerals, and everywhere we don't know when it happens. So somebody will call, it happened. In the beginning, for all the deaths, I used to rush and see that how we can do. Now we are making a plans for their rehabilitation and how to stop, how to prevent the deaths. It is not just going and see the funeral, attending and crying and coming is not sufficient. So we do develop a kind of a technological innovations and with the many like-minded friends. Friends, I am just closing now, and I want to request all of you how we can build in a society where there is no discrimination. How, what are the mechanisms we can use? How do we actually our knowledge, our wisdom, and our actually humanity can put together and make many victims to come out of all forms of the discrimination. It's not just manual scavenging. And before I want to make even the I made a how painful thing is 4 years, 5 years, the girls are also getting raped. And such society to live, we feel so difficult. It is not like a human society. They're just our so kids in our hand. And why it is happening? Where we lost? Why we lost? Why can't we compare? Why can't we make all of us to aware about our own self? And how do we take the humanity and make everybody to be feel happy? That is what I feel. And I close here and we'll take some questions. Then let us see that later how we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Such an intense talk yet again. I'm very, very thankful to you. You have covered a lot of topics in terms of how the struggle has begun and how in society and in life, people keep making lots of mistakes. And over a period of time, they realize, and then the correction takes place. Looks like that is the journey and that is the template for all the problems, both man-made as well as in general, what we witness and come across and experience. Sir, you have also mentioned that the things that you have gone through is something that you cannot escape from feeling it, you cannot escape from forgetting it. I mean, the society around you, the people around you have actually created opinions about you first, and therefore their opinion has become in some way your life. India has grown quite well. I think India is one of the fastest developing countries, a sovereign country, as you mentioned. But in spite of the growth and the development, the value for human beings under this nationhood looks like it is far from desirable. The other important factor that you mentioned is that, in simple words, leadership is about carrying the plight of people, both victims as well as ordinary people, equally well. I think that is the simplest definition that you have given. In spite of keeping on analyzing, in spite of keeping on thinking about various issues, what is more important is to start doing something about it, start changing the current prevailing situation. I think that is yet another lesson in the most important aspects of leadership and also bringing about change on the ground. Several years you have spent, several situations and difficulties you overcome, both personal as well as societal. I think the results that you have seen during your Andolan and as a result of your Andolan is very, very high. That is, as many as 30 lakh people in manual scavenging have been reduced to less than a lakh of people currently there. As we talk, sir, when we started registrations for this webinar over the last 1 week, some of my friends have told me that manual scavenging is still going on and that is still happening in Hyderabad. It is extremely sad and painful to even note that. But you have seen most of them very closely. You have seen that in the family, and you have worked for eradicating all these things. I think the steps that you have taken, the patience that you have put in, and the energy that you have displayed in reconciling with these facts as well as eradicating the same is a great lesson for us and an inspiration for all of us. What we will do now, sir, is based on this initial talk, and we have a set of questions, as I mentioned, we will begin the Q&A. Now, my esteemed colleague, Professor Prasad, will begin the moderation. Professor Prasad is the head of academic wing at ICFI Group. He has 3 decades of rich experience. He is an alumnus from IIT Bombay and IIM Calcutta, and he has designed the latest online MBA program. So I request now Professor Prasad to commence the Q&A. We will also incorporate the questions as we move along, the latest questions that are on the chat box. We are quite conscious of that. I have made note of it. But first, we will try and see how we can plug in the structured questions that we already have with us. Thank you, Professor Prasad.
Thank you, Professor Sudhakar Rao. Thank you very much, Bezwada Wilson, sir. You have put a completely different dimension and a different perspective for us to open a discussion on what the problems are and what leadership is in solving those problems. You have given us some sense of the journey that you have taken. And in this perspective, for the purpose of the audience, we had a good number of registrations into the webinar, and about more than 7 out of 10 people have asked questions. So in order to make it comprehensive and of use to the audience, we have collated this, and then that is the set that we are going to ask. And in addition, we will also look at what the chat box is also saying. I'll start with where you have ended, sir. One observation I have is that you have gone through what many of us have not even seen. I mean, I'm talking about the audience here because it is with relevance to the audience. We would have heard about this from you. We may have read about it somewhere, but we have not at all gone through all this. So to that extent, you are a pair of eyes to us, and we have to understand how you went about doing this. So in that context, so that we learn something. A lot of people may look at leadership as what they see only in organizations, but leadership has a far more bigger definition than what happens in organizations. And I think you started off by indicating we happen to be from that educated category that you referred to, right? Which went about submitting, not the right kind of information. And on behalf of all of them, I apologize. I know that it means nothing. But for the purpose of this particular discussion, I think it is very important that we learn from where you come from and where you have succeeded. So the first question comes there, sir. You have withstood the influence of many people. In your very brief opening, you have mentioned that this conditioning is there, and people have repeatedly told you. Now, how did you withstand all this influence that you have got from so many people? How do you help us to learn to withstand such influences? May not be in the same context, maybe in another context. Somewhere our problems may be different, but you have a strength of mind and you have a certain willpower which has helped you. I don't know the reasons, but I think you may be able to help us to understand as to how you withstood all this negativity and you have taken it from 30 to 1, or at least you are part of it. You have, it's a major movement, and you have done so much for that cause over these decades. You have talked about 39 years. So can you give us some understanding of how, as a person, you are able to withstand all this negativity and take your steps forward, sir?
Sir, it is very difficult to answer questions. Otherwise, talking is whatever I feel I can. But I can say that I really believe that all are equal and every human being is as much we are. And I fully depend on the people. People is our strength. More than that, nothing is the strength. And particularly in the democracy. And I don't even depend of anything. Even simplest thing is the money. So I don't even believe to keep the money also. Many times I don't even keep the money. Whatever I have, I will. If I don't have also, I don't. And I don't even think if I don't have the money, what I am going to do. Because I feel there are the people, human beings. So there are the goodwill is there. So they will definitely save me. That is what my strongest one understanding. And second is there is a fear of the power is there for me from the beginning. And always I feel that power is then a very thing which spoils all of us. And the power is, we think that satta power, that is the only when you are in some position, if you are a chief minister, prime minister or something. But actually every human being, we have the power. So when you feel that you are a powerful or power, then you will underestimate all others are not. I don't believe that. I believe really everybody are powerful as equal as we are all. and I keep myself away from the actually the power of the actually ruling or anything. The people who are there in the power or something, and I am happy to be ruled by somebody or anything, because I know that that is an easiest way and it is a good. I'm not happy to be there in the some position or leadership or anything. I'm shy away actually. And when I'm studying also from the 7th or 6th, somebody says that you can be a leader. But my leadership, actually, I have seen in my social welfare hostel where we studied from the 6th to 10th in the social welfare hospital, hostel, government hostel. There is no any facilities like, they don't even give the mat. They ask just you can sleep anywhere like, so that is the way they treat. That hostel has an history that if you become a leader of the hostel leader, that fellow definitely is going to fail the 10th class examination. And that tradition has continued every year. So from my 6th standard, first my prayer is I should not become a leader because I should not fail my 10th class because my parents and everybody is waiting for me to study something. So that fear made me be away from the power. Then I started, when I in 8th standard, everybody unanimously elected me as you have to be a leader or something. Then I cried and I said that I am afraid to be because I have seen that the leader, when they become, they don't wash their plate, they don't fold their anything, and they don't sweep. And leader means something. That image of the leader in our understanding is somebody who can dominate, who can yield, he can get all the facilities, privileges from everybody. In the hostel, we were the 60, 70 children. The leader always dominates, and no, it is not. He feels that it is a privilege of being a leader. So that somewhere it disturbed me a lot. I don't want to become a leader. So that is actually the way. The 10 years when we worked also, I never called this myself as anything. Even now, if somebody says that Bezwada Wilson a leader, I feel very uncomfortable. Because the leadership about the way we are thinking and the leadership about the Baba Saheb Ambedkar ideas and Mohandas Karamchand Gandhiji ideas and the many more people are completely different. That kind of a leadership is not there. So that kept me away from all these influences and all. And for me, I feel more comfortable to be there with the people than going and sitting somewhere here or parliament or assembly or something. But my person like me, I'm not saying that we should not go. We must enter into the politics to actually to make the social change. That is the key of the whole thing. I do agree for that. But as me, and my job is actually something, and people and you are all also recognizing me for this, not to be a leader who is going to sit in the somewhere or something. So I want to be that way parameter. And I think Shankarans are also maybe his influence, because when the government of India offered him as a Padma Vibhushan also, he said that I did my job and I got my salary every month. So why the war? The very simple way he said. So like I understood that we are all just what we are able to do only. We are, no, see, I feel, and it is not a, with the humility I'm saying, sir, I have done nothing such a great. Whatever is possible in front of us every day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think you put a completely different dimension to what is conventionally understood as leadership and what normally people read about. And I think the critical statement out there is that you don't want to be a leader. So it's a very, very contrarian approach. And from the setting that you came and from the, the background that you had, the fears that you had, the understanding that you had about people in power, you have developed your own context. You have developed your own way in which you can use those as strengths. And I think some of those points are extremely relevant for everyone. I mean, independent of the context. Some that I could understand is that your very strong personal beliefs. Very strong personal beliefs. Another was belief in people. Not belief in money, but belief in people, in the good heartedness of people, to contribute in case you are in problems or in case you face a challenge. These are some things that I was able to take away from this, sir. And I think this entire contrarian view that you don't want to be a leader has a lot of potential even today. Because at the end of the day, the designated leader is only one in a situation. But the undesignated leaders are many. In fact, that question came up in the chat box. How do you develop leaders? Somebody else responded that this leader is there in all of you, the leader in you. As Stephen Covey wrote that book, The Leader in You. So I think you have highlighted a very, very important dimension which applies to the majority of us who don't consider ourselves to be leaders. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. I shift the question now, sir. Now this is about your experience, and you will be able to, if you are able to illustrate, your very first, you mentioned about the Kolar Goldfields, that something positive happened there. If you are able to illustrate a bit more in detail about how the whole thing happened, where you started, and then how people went around it, and finally how it reached, I think it will give us a little more insight into this this dimension of this kind of a leadership coming to some outcome which is desirable. Yes, sir.
One thing is very clear. See, I have not, I never had any plan that we have to do like this, or the draft, and you kept that roadmap and the strategy. People ask me, do you have a vision? I said that I have no vision. And somebody asked me, you have a mission. So there is a vision, mission, and strategies. These are the words which I started learning after 20, 30 years. Before that, we don't even know the words. And somebody asked me, are you doing you are doing a effective advocacy? I said that what is advocacy? I don't know. Then they said, this is what the whole lifetime you are doing. I said that by knowing that, learning, we have never did. We are doing something, later people will be giving the names for our work or our life, whatever. That is the one. And when we started in the early, that was the problem. Is actually there are the two things which we really, everybody must understand. To talk about the past, to talk about the patriarchy, there is no language is there already, even now. If you want to say that caste is a very difficult thing which to, and how to explain, you have no vocabulary, you have no language for that. And if you say that patriarchy is such a cruel, and it takes whole our concept of the equality, that's only one word. But you can't explain that because we have all the language which supports actually dominance. To fight against the dominance, you have to develop. You see, when I went first and I started telling that, we have in the childhood, people who learned some certain English abbreviations and all, they used to say that BBS or something. So I don't know what is BBS. So I asked that other person, what is this BBS? It is called the abbreviation. Abbreviation also I don't know what that BBS and VBS or something. KGF also abbreviation. Kolar Goldfields. So that is what. Then they said that big bucket service. So in the house we have the small bucket, but when we collect the fecal matters in the city, you need a big bucket. So my brother is to carry that. So people is to call that as a BBS, big bucket service. So these are the vocabulary. So we ourselves, means my brother is doing. So I am making this statement or this kind of a words. So this is in a part of our life. Then when it is coming out, then my uncle in the sense, my mother's brother, youngest brother, who came from the village to the Kolar Goldfields, and his brother, eldest brother, he was also there in Kolar Goldfields along with my mother. He was working. So that person, he was there, and this youngest brother, one day he came. He went to the work, newly joined, and he came and he was keeping the hands like this, and he came. And he came into the home, and he asked, why you are keeping the hands like this? What happened? What happened? Other brother. He said that he started crying. And he said that why, what happened? He said, Anna, brother, why you have not given me a, if you could have given me a bit poison, I could have just taken and I could have died very peacefully. What a calm, what a kind of a treatment you have given. And what happened? He is unable to keep his hands close to him. He's keeping like this and coming. That is the first day he went to clean the latrine and he carried the fecal matter sheet. And that smell is not leaving. So he started coming and saying, I was also there. Everybody is laughing. And he is the alone who was crying. And he is a very youngest, so closely known to me. And I also stopped my laughing and thinking, what happened? Why is, so that is the way the people actually suffered a lot when they first time when I went and I started also telling them why we should clean and all. During that time, I first said that why only we should clean. That was my question started. Let everybody clean. Then I realized that only cleaning, others are not cleaning. Then I started asking why they are cleaning. People said that they are getting the salary. Then my adamant question is, I also pay you, I will pay you salary, good salary. Will you come and clean? So they started, what nonsense you are talking? With whom you are talking like? So I don't know how to actually ask that say. I went to the Dr. C. Subramaniam, District Magistrate, Deputy Commissioner in Karnataka. He's a collector like. So he was coming and asking, what is the rehabilitation you want? And the people say, I need some chicken. So how many? He said that 2. And he has written and he said that next. And another person said that I need a 1 quote. He has written rehabilitation next. So I got up and I said that, sir, this can't be a rehabilitation, sir. How they will live? Whatever they are asking, I am giving. I said, sir, don't talk like this. You are an IAS officer, you must know all these things. Who are you, all those things? I said that nothing. Then finally he said that we are paying and they are working. I said that I will also pay you salary. You also come and clean the toilet. You will understand. Then everybody taken me. Later stages, I understood what I said is also not correct. So likewise, slowly it has grown and started developing the language to convince the people also. I went and asked why we should clean. They said, if you don't do this, then what else we will do? Then I started asking them, in the city, we are only 1,000 people. Okay. And rest almost like a 5 lakh people, they are all living without cleaning. So why we 1,000 people can't live? So I developing my work, but that was also not good rational. No justification. Slowly then people started, it is my work. So if you say this is my work, how? The other saying it is their work is okay. Then again working on that. Then finally we understood that we are not the first people who are opposing this, are fighting against this. There are the thousands who raised the voice. Whoever raised the voice, they lost their jobs. They dismissed. They sent them out of the job. Who never given any promotion later. They punished like a very cruel. That is the reason they were all keeping quiet. Don't think that we are so great and we are some hero and we are, no, not at all. They are the better. I know Ramaka, I know Saroj Didi Ambala, I know Narayanamma. They are the super leaders. If you want to go on left, they are actually true leaders are there. And you go on to talk to, then some TV person came one day. I was giving an interview and all. And he said that, somebody said that he is the hero of the Safai Karmacharis. Then Narayanamma came, she was also there standing. She said, why he is the hero? Before him, I was working. Na? I am a hero. So that is actually true leadership. They come and fight and they went to the any offices also and in magistrate office everywhere. So leadership is something different and the experiences are completely different. And while we are traveling, we are learning. Actually, for the discrimination and all problems, there is no good arguments or the vocabulary. And even now people say that if you are not cleaning, who will clean? And we can develop something. So people say that why Dalits only is clean. So then the others will come. From tomorrow, only Brahmins will clean. I said that during that time, I also felt that something good argument. Later stages, we understood. Then sometime before somebody says that, somebody is saying that it is in a greatest work. And everybody asked me, why can't you go and tell to the TV, if it is a greatest, ask that person to clean. Let him have that greatness also. I said that even for in my team also, I can't ask another human being to do that because I experience how cruel is that. So how can I ask the other caste? So we have to create a kind of a human perspective, human value based. So that is the way we understood, and each and every step is the struggle. And nothing is because there is no other way now. So you have to struggle and you have to come out of it. There is no other way.
Thank you, sir. I think you have given a lot of messages that our audience will be able to understand in a very, very subtle way. And I think one of the first things is about the language issue. That things may be happening, but we are unable to capture it in a manner in which we are able to take the cause further. I think that happens even today. And so this issue is really applicable for us. The ability to use language to craft and to be able to break mindsets, to be able to use language as a tool to improve the direction in which you want to go, and so that you reach a solution. I think you have played a role there in terms of what you have said, this communication, raising questions, and then increasing the awareness of people through raising questions, making people think. It took a lot of time, no doubt, but I think that is one thing that I was able to recognize from this, sir. The other important point that I was able to recognize is your recognition about others as leaders. I think this happens fairly rarely, that there are a lot of people who do work. There are a lot of people who do a lot of good work. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the perception of others who are outside, it looks like there is only one or two people who did the work. While actually in reality, that is not the case. This is a bane of how things happen everywhere, including in organizations. And I think the moment, whether it is technology or some other, or language or some other mechanism is established, things will become more even, more egalitarian, and we will be able to unleash people's energies far better. So this is the second thing that I learned, sir. The third point that I learned is about the creating the value base. That is the foundation for your communication. That is the foundation for you to build on. And if you don't do that consistently, it can all be shots in the dark. I think some of these values you did mention in the as a response to the first question. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. The third question in this cluster, sir, I will then hand it over to Professor Sudhakar Rao. The third question, sir, is about what do you see as the future of this movement currently? How do you see this whole thing going? Because times have changed. Maybe from 30 it has come down to 1 lakh. Maybe the problem has changed shape. Can you give your thoughts and insights on this, sir, about the future?
The future is actually now the civil society and the solidarity groups. Their sensitivity has grown well, and we must feel happy for that. We can't think that nothing happened and everything happened with the one section of the people. It is not. So I also always feel that it is a mutual process. It is not like there is a good this thing that liberation is not a kind of a gift or the charity. Liberation is a mutual process. So everybody must liberate. It is not just we are liberating the scavenger or anything or somebody. It is in a process. We are all must involve, and we must have. Otherwise, what is the use? It is in a holistic. That is important. Second is actually the governments also now realize that they must do something. And there is a public outcry also. There is people are asking. And someday you will see that in just one phone call and say that there is one person is entering here in my village inside the manhole. So I want to Lord Jacob. See, people are already started that questioning or asking the making the change, which means what? People are not happy to see any human being is entering into the manhole or dying. So that kind of a thing is in a new dimension for the India, and the people awareness is increased, and the scavengers also the community. They are also realizing that this is not our life alone. We can also have the better life. That hopes are also there. But there is some political shortfalls. There is some political decisions must take even now. If it happens, and definitely we can see that very soon that no women is carrying the human excreta on hand or the head or anywhere. That is actually the day we must, everybody must expect, and if it comes soonest possible, we are very happy.
Thank you, sir. You have given us a very powerful parallel as a response to your this question. And I think the point that I have taken away is about the liberation for everyone. I think you have attacked Safai, that kind of thing in your scavenging in your lifetime. Significantly, you paid attention to it. But I think there are many other areas. Education is one area, because as a country, when you say awareness, when you say people don't know, and there are so many people who are not living the average human being's life. You mentioned it in your introduction. The education has to play a major role there. And I think there is an equivalent of that scavenging or destroying those mindsets, or educating people or building awareness even in education. And I think in each person's life, from whichever sector they come, because there was one question about, I am a sales professional, how do I find how do I find utility from a workshop like this? And I think it's always that you can learn from what others are doing, and you can clean up your own mind. And then if you clean up your own mind, you will be able to do better in your profession, and you can ask far better questions in terms of how to clean up others' minds. Thank you very much, sir. With that, we come to the end of the first cluster, and I hand it over to Professor Sudhakar Rao.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I think the discussion is getting deeper and deeper. And every time there is a question, you are responding with so many nuances, so many subtle points. And I think we are ending up writing notes and notes all along. I must thank you that it is going on so well. There are many questions, but I will stick to just one or two questions. I don't want to take away the attention and the value that you can provide to this discussion. Let me prioritize that. Governments keep on changing in various states where you are working. How, when governments are changing, we will keep the movement going on. Maybe you can give one or two practical tips, how you have practiced dealing with changing governments or new people coming to power, and then how do you handle that your movement still is heard, and then some response will come from them.
There is some problem within the system which is not allowing to actually to happen the change. To happen the change, we have to put it is like you have to put the double or triple power on that to push, then only it will change. Automatically things will not going to change. That is the very clear. Governments will come and governments will go every 5 years. But the policies of the governments are not changing. The attitude of the government, the state, the way they look the people separately, like the state is even now thinking that people are something different. State is not thinking, state is consisting with the people only. That attitude is not. So we are giving. They become like a givers. Actually, people are the givers. When they give the vote only, you become, but after that we forget. So that some kind of a very disturbing thing when it is there also. But when majority accepted, we will have to accept the leadership of the people whoever coming to the power. With them also, when we are working, every day it is a one level. Somebody will call immediately, somebody will not call. We go to the 5-10 times and convince them, we talk to them. See, our job is actually, it is not only the scavengers liberation or anything. It is actually in this whole process. It is just like it is entering into the one place and it has to go whole body like the blood. So it is in a kind of a human value. which is saying that we cannot treat another human being as a slave. That is the value that is going to the courts. So it goes to the court, one court to the other court, and it comes to the collectors. Collector is sending that file to the many places. When I go and talk in somewhere here or some talk, so there some officer will say, this file has come to me once upon a time when I was working in Munger. So I also written that there is no manual. I am so sorry for that. So there isn't a realization, there is all these things. In this whole process, everybody getting realization, everybody is learning. So it is not just achievement. It is a humanizing, and all these things cannot be measured. That when are we going to achieve, whether you are going to win the war, it is not the war or anything. So that is the one. And with each government, we are actually learning. And our goal is very clear. Like example, very simple example. This is actually, I am also still thinking, but I want to, like in municipality, cleaning machines, tractor, all those things. That is the municipality owns. And they employ some sanitation workers and ask them to come and do the work. And they will get their wages. And municipality will maintain the tractor or whatever. And the brooms and the whatever utensils we are working. So your computer, your all those things, the government, your office is providing to you, and you are using the computer. If it is not working, you will say it is not working, you want to replace. But in the sanitation and the scavenging, sanitation particularly, what the government is now doing is they are giving loan to the sanitation worker to buy the machine. And the loan who has to repay? The sanitation worker has to repay the loan, and the machine is going to clean what? Not the sanitation worker house. It is the whole city is cleaning. So the city cleaning and a responsibility is in the modern way of rehabilitation also. Burden on the sanitation worker. So you take the loan and you repay the loan, but you come and clean my street, because you are a sanitation. So these are the certain things which disturbs us. How do we understand this? So if somebody asks you, you are joining in the office, buy your computer, come on loan and work for us, and you pay for your computer. Will you agree? But why for the sanitation worker that? So our value system, our understanding is really, it goes ups and down. And the people also think that we get the machine now. Yesterday I was in a labor, today I am a owner. That person is also talking. So where you intervene and how do you make both the parties to understand? Each and every day one challenge. And how do we look this in a different view? Otherwise, we will also fall into the same trap. And you will make an SHG group, or you will make a cooperative society. You will ask them to buy the machine, and they will repay this thing. If they are not repaying, the bank will take the machine out. But really, it is the government's, their policies. This is some governments, I no need to mention, but many governments are playing this kind of a rehabilitation also.
Amazing, sir. I think what you narrated is actually shocking in terms of trying to understand, especially from our perspective. We are disproportionately privileged, educated, staying in places where we haven't seen, heard of, not even remotely. And when we listen to you, I think this is quite shocking. The whole body of administration, the whole society and the system needs to be overhauled. As you mentioned, it is the blood that goes into all veins and arteries, and the whole body has to be, supplied and then cleansed. I think that is a very nice way of capturing the role that you have to play. It is not just with government changing and then you will have to start dealing with the new government. It doesn't begin there or it doesn't end there. It is with various other people and the entire system and some internal forces which are actually stopping this change from actually taking place. So when you give loan to Safai Karamcharis or municipality people, it is like the responsibility is to clean the entire city, but the burden is only on that person. I think this is a very, very important flaw that you have highlighted. I think that tells us some idea about how nicely you look at the problems and then focus on that to resolve those problems. I think the question is very sufficiently answered and there are many cues for us. One last question I have, sir. Before I take question from the chat box, or I invite the person to actually ask the question themselves. The question is, so many things are happening in the society. You as a body, SKA is handling a lot of work, in fact. How do you ensure, or what are the suggestions that you have for us that on this topic or any sensitive topic, how do we sensitize masses? Basic culture of people needs to be changed. So what steps needs to be taken so that the entire society can be sensitized towards such issues?
The one thing what I learned with the Shankaran sir is actually he's not a good speaker. He's also just like me, something he will speak and he will not very powerful or anything. But if you spend some time with him, later we will understand how he made many things we understood already. Like the people also, when we go to them and we think that how do we make them more sensible or anything. But actually when we become like a more sensible people, the people will learn from us and they will also strengthen our sensitivity. Actually, we no need to go and tell the people to be more sensible because they are already, because they are sensible only, they are become so oppressed. They are not given up. They are still fighting. This is their greatness. And their salaries were not given on time. And many municipalities never give the salaries on time. Still they come and clean. So they have their own contributions in very different way for the society. So we have to really think that the masses always are in right path. Masses are not in the wrong path, but they have no great choice. So whatever is the choices are available, they see better choice. So there is no best choice are available for the masses in the country. So we also must, through all this leadership kind of learnings and all, we must put such kind of challenges to the country, nation, and the leadership to actually how much we can be sensible, how we can see. See, sometimes in our movements also, we think that we have to fight against the caste system. But when we talk about the patriarchy, that we will discuss about later.
Yes.
And that is not, if you are sensible about one, that is not mean that you are sensible about everything. And sensitivity is then a process. When that is what I said in the beginning, we are becoming a human beings. We are in the process of becoming a human being. So first, before we become a citizen is in a very big word actually, and greatest word. When we born as a citizen, automatically we have then all alienated, all the rights we get. So before that, we have to raise to the human being. That sensitivity we must everybody develop. And it is not just that you can't even announce that I became a human being today. No. This is in a process. There is no limitation to become a human being. Because a human being is in a, so we should not discriminate even the animals after this thing. There is also greatness. But usually in our, everybody says that this is the human being is something which is important. And we luckily or by gift we become. So we have to still actually explore how I can be a more good human.
Amazing, sir. I think this is an eye-opener kind of session, as one of our participants also has mentioned. In being able to connect these very, very important and fundamental aspects of how do you look at yourself and how do you look at your fellow human being. So beautifully you have mentioned that sensitivity or sensitiveness is a process, and we are also in the process of becoming a human being. I think it's tons of a message. It's a huge and large message that you are giving. And every time you speak, and the mention that you made of Mr. S.R. Shankaran, that he is not a great speaker. And here on webinars, we try to use language, we try to use sophistication, and we try to pride ourselves saying that, oh, I am great, I am speaking great and all. I think it is not in the language, but it is in the weight that we carry, in the work that we do. Several times you have answered that it is not the label, but in the purpose that you carry or in the actual work that you do, not in the thoughts, not in the analysis. I think these are shackling, these are breaking some of the learnings that we have in the past that we learned that has to be unlearned and broken. I think that is the biggest lesson that has happened. Now I will invite, if I keep on talking, it will be boring, sir. I think you should talk. And I will invite Professor Shailendra Bisht to ask his question briefly. सर हम हिंदी में पूछ सकते हैं सर विल्सन सर आपका म्यूट हो गया सर
Sir, any language is okay.
एनी लैंग्वेज इज ओके शैलेंद्र साहब आप पूछ सकते हैं
No, it's okay, sir. I can. Thank you very much, Gauda sir. I mean, I first heard you in Manthan in Hyderabad, and like what Sudhakar sir said, it was mesmerizing, and I was in tears. I mean, when I heard the life that people around you have lived. So my question was more specifically in terms of what you have just discussed in terms of leadership lessons. But like I teach in a business school, so I just wanted to your opinion on what can business schools and business school students do in terms of creating social impact. I mean, they're going to be future managers, and some of them would end up in responsible corporates as well. So what can we do at educational institutions, especially in higher education, management kind of higher education, that can create future impact leaders or at least creating some impact there?
Actually, the management is the most important in administration. So your schools actually, if they are making good leaders, the manager is the leader. So the problem is like my problem. Majority of us, we don't like to be called as a leaders, but we are all leaders. There is no doubt. So how do we actually, the leader can manage the things? The managing the things is an important. So as a business school, you have the greatest, I think that the cream of the students will reach there. And there only one thing is that gives a more comfort also. It is a comfort zone. So somebody has to ready to sacrifice their comfort and come to the actually truly manage the things. So we think that managing the things is actually managing or without losing our comfort. So we want to put ourselves in the very convenient place. So to that we manage the other things, but we create and we say that we are managing whole thing. Actually, we manage our comfort zones. So we must ready to actually break our comfort zones. Actually, truly manage. So without the managing, nothing will happen. Even every day, in and out, in the family also. Somebody is managing the thing. Otherwise, we can't be so easily having all the privileges. So that is what I always say is that because they are very privileged. So you become once you are there, you get everything just like that. So from there, actually, the question must start. So how actually that kind of a comfort zones can enjoy by the masses and many. Otherwise, it is like an ashram. There is some 5 rishis sitting and teaching like, so the business schools are also like a big institutions where you learn the knowledge, wisdom, and actually wisdom is something in different way. So you feel everything is equal, comfort or uncomfort, both are okay, but the justice is then ultimately we have to see that. So there should be a justice everywhere. So without justice, you feel more comfort. Is injustice actually. So that we have to understand in a different way. And the future also, it is not, say we think that go to the business school is then you will have the better or the bright future. What is the future? Whatever is there, everything is the same. So we have to some way that our, what we can say, our ancient, our people, whatever they made, some kind of knowledge and wisdom, we have to take and put into the business school and practice that in a very different way. That is a greatest success of the business schools. And without the business management and all, the country like so many crores of people, how do we manage?
Great, sir. I think
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I think Sudhakar sir and Prasad sir also, I see Vice Chancellor was also here. Perhaps we should create more rural immersion and immersion programs where students could be taken out of their comfort zones and shown an alternate universe which exists in this very country, in this very cities that we live in. And perhaps that's what Wilson sir is trying to tell us, that take them out of the comfort zones and then they would perhaps learn what needs to be done for everybody in that sense. Yeah. Thank you very much, sir.
great, great. Thank you, Professor Shalinder, for asking that question. I think what Wilson sir has mentioned is very, very profound and deep in terms of breaking the existing modes of learning. They're all privileged. They come like Gurukul. In the olden days, very few people used to go to the Gurukul and they learn, and they're all privileged. So they keep on protecting their comfort zone. But today, the modern day business schools, they try to manage, not sacrificing their comforts, which is the problem. I think very, very beautifully put. And these are deep, strong lessons for us. You have comfort, you have management, everything, but think about justice. Justice, comfort without justice is just not okay. I think that is the lesson that we probably take home. Although your personal belief is that leadership should not be labeled, your personal belief is that nobody should, you yourself should not be called a leader, but you are appreciating that business management schools will have to be run, and they are required to manage this large society and country. At the same time, in a new direction with practical approach, where comfort, convenience, good for all is married with justice. I think that's pretty strong lesson. Without wasting much time, sir, I will next invite one more person. Is Bhavna there? You wanted to ask some question. Bhavna, are you there? Otherwise, I will ask that question. The question is, sir, how do we become a follower of a social impact leader like you? In the sense that if we also have to create the social impact like the way you have created, what are one or two practical steps for me or for that individual who has asked that question? How to become a follower of a leader like you or a social impact person like you? That is the question.
So still I am also following, so I can't answer immediately. And that we have to do. But when we are honestly, when we are doing something, so there is some recognition by the others. So that recognition, when they started, we call them as a followers, but it is not truly follow or anything. Somebody will recognize if there is a honesty. If you are honest and you are committed to the something, then definitely people, you no need to worry about somebody will recognize, not recognize. That is what is the honesty. Honesty never expect anything. And it is in a passion, you will do because you strongly believe that. So your belief system, whatever says, and your conscious, that if you go, then the people will be also appreciating you or recognize. We can't call them as a followers, but of course, there is a definitely we can say.
Great. So if you have your own belief system based on your conscience, you follow that and be honest to the cause that you are dealing with, then people will recognize that. In other words, is probably followership. I think that's the template that you have given. A beautiful answer to that very practical question. What I will now do, sir, is I will switch back.
Sir.
We are going to close it soon. If there is any one question from Professor Prasad, he can ask that, and after that we'll wrap it up, sir. Professor Prasad.
Yes, sir. I think, I've zeroed in on one question. And before that, I think from whatever language is coming up, both in what we are speaking, as well as in what is there in the chat box, one point which kept coming back to me is that you talked about this vision and mission. And I think the point is that from what you're saying, I understand is that these things are in the heart first and not in the head. It should be there in the heart. And that's what when you mean by saying belief system, when you say commitment, honesty, if it is there in the heart, then it is more important than being in the head. This is what I could understand from that, sir. The question I'm coming to is about trust, because this question it's part of leadership. It's part of leadership, no doubt. But I'm sure it was a huge part of what you did, because you came in and started asking questions. You also mentioned that people suffered earlier. So how did people start trusting you? Trusting you so that they started also doing the same thing. You also mentioned that some women started, raising slogans in the Hindi heartland. So how did you build this trust, sir?
Sir, actually, you mentioned about that when we are working or we are believing strongly with our wholehearted things, then we ourselves, we will feel that when we are doing so great or anything, but you will understand that you are going in right way. It is not great or anything, because you are going in. When you are thinking that I'm going, then there will be some kind of a hurdles will come, because there is no proper way or easiest short way for the right things to move in the society. The people will question you. So like me, when I started, so people said that this fellow is talking about this, all these kind of issues, because he want to go to the foreign. To have the foreign trip, he is talking, somebody said. So what to do? There people will talk many things. So what I did is, I have taken just a kind of a decision that I should not visit foreigner. I should not. Then I continued my this thing, almost like I got many opportunities to go. Almost like a 10-15 years, I never visited. Everybody went, my friends and my colleagues, many people. But I want to be honest to myself. So I have not gone. Then after that, once or twice, somebody asked me to go to meet some important human rights, what it is, human rights commissioner, United Nations Human Rights Commissioner. It is a very highest position in UN. So I went and I given some trilateral piece where we broken as a toilet, and we taken that and put it into the one showcase and presented. This is the. So she has written and the tearing down the walls of the Desperatis and the walls. Something she has written. Then people started, everybody calling me every week to come to the lecture or something. Then one fine day, I should not say this, and it is very difficult to say here. And I felt that if I have I have not gone to the foreign because I never had the passport. And somebody has made me to take the passport to go to this important event. And after everybody is asking, I thrown my passport and I have not told anyone. So that is a crime actually. We should not throw passport. So actually people will suspect us what we are going to do after some time. Ultimately, we will fall into the same trap. So we have to be honest ourselves and come back, and I stopped going. And something decisions we have to take in the life. Like people will say that you will be showing all of us the pictures of the scavenger or something. So here are there in the international national. So to be honest, till today, Safai Karmachari Andolan, in all these years, we never produced even a single documentary or the movie. We never. Because that is their right to say that whether they can be shown here or there. But we are just like that, they are victims, so that we take them and show everywhere. As if that we have a right to. We stop lying. So why I am bringing all these things? Then when we started doing all these things slowly, and I came with the bag in Hyderabad, and I told everybody, I will go with the same bag, I will not take anything. When I left the Hyderabad also, I live in offices only, wherever. And now I am sitting here, and here only I am sleeping. And this is everything is on my place. Very simple kind of a living. All these things actually people will see slowly. That does not mean that everybody will believe. And we are living like this, not to just people must believe us, for not that. We must, our core value must be, we are fighting for the actually my own satisfaction also. It is not for somebody I am fighting, sir. I am fighting for my own satisfaction. As a human being, I cannot see another human being carrying the human. That is not for somebody. So that makes me to be just like that. And I have nothing even now. Anything, something which I can own. After my parents died, and I became just like that. When my mother died, I cried so much. So much I cried. Then only I realized why I'm crying. Because after that, there is nothing for me. There's like why to go, where to go, nothing. Then only after 1 or 2 hours or something, I was there at the cemetery and I'm alone crying and people are watching like anything. Many were there. Then I realized that what for I am crying for the only my mother. She is my biological mother who given me such a strength, such a this thing. She has taken me just literally to the schools because I dropped my studies in the fourth, fifth, sixth, 3 times. And she has taken me lifting just and taken me to the school and begged with the teacher like anything. You must give it one chance for my child. He must go to the school. That is the only thing I want to so much. So when she died, when I felt all those things, then I felt that why I'm so much like a crying. There are the thousands and the thousands of my mothers who are all cleaning the human history in this country. So I must go to them. I should not cry on the just at the cemetery burial ground. So let me go place to place where my mother is. So still in search of my mother, wherever.
Thank you, sir. That's the brilliant response. You have put it in your own way. In search of your mother is your motive. And I think you have, in response to the question, you have mentioned that people look at the motive very carefully. And I suspect that people are looking at whether you're looking at power, money, or foreign trips is one thing that you said. And if it turns out to be the way they want it, I think they start believing you and then they start following you. And I think that's why you said it takes a lot of time. Thanks a lot, sir, for consistently reinforcing the central principle on purpose, belief, and all the other things which follow, and also demonstrating that you can do a lot of big things which actually impact people. And as you said, searching for your mother, you found many mothers, you did liberate many mothers. So thanks a lot for that response, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We are closing now,
Thank
sir.
you.
I must thank you, and I'll just say 2 lines, 3 lines, and then we'll close it, sir. On behalf of ICFI Group, we are thankful to you for this amazing session where you have opened our eyes. It is soul-searching, thought-provoking, not just to 2-3 of us, but hundreds and thousands of us who are listening to this across the world. You have helped us learn, you have enlightened us to look at how the problem is. On one hand, sir, you have gone through so much of problem yourself within your family. We are not talking even about the next house. Within your own family, there was a problem. You dropped out of school so many times. It has driven you to commit suicide once. From there, you have started an Andolan where there are no labels for yourself, but very, very grounded that you are. You didn't want to associate yourself with anybody who is having power, because power is to dominate and domination is to gain some privilege, whereas you focused only on delivering on the ground, doing the work, making a small difference, one house after the other, a small difference to their lives, and slowly liberating, and yet feeling that you are nobody to liberate them. Liberation is a continuous process. All human beings will have to do to one another. It is a mutual process. Deep sense of values and connect to the society has really touched us, sir. I think any amount of discussion anymore, I think some of us are going to weep again, because such is the problem. Such is the situation on the ground. 30 lakhs has come to 1 lakh, but the lessons are even less than 1 lakh. One more question has come just now. Somebody in Noida has seen a person going into a sewer line and is being guided by a government official to clean it. The problem is still there. The Andolan has to continue. People like you will have to inspire us, not just on the roads and in the interiors where there is a problem. Sometimes it is not visible. So that's why I'm saying interiors. No, the problem is there in our mindset. The problem is there in the discrimination that we create. How do we break those barriers? I think that is the lesson for us. Sir, as you mentioned, salute to S.R. Shankaran sir and your Anand Rao sir who has inspired you. I think Shankaran sir, you mentioned empathy. I mean, thinking about other person's problems, empathy doesn't come just because you are a victim. Empathy comes even when you are not a victim also. I think Shankaran sir is a very, very big example for that. They can become reformists. They don't have to be the victims. Noble are those souls. I think you have given the examples of Narayanamma and Ramakka, who are the real leaders according to you. We salute to them also. And the biggest salute is to your mother, and the way you see mothers everywhere in every home and try and do something little bit so that they can take pride of themselves and also take pride of their own children, because your mother carried you to go and study. Education is the only emancipation or liberation for any human being. She believed so strongly in spite of being entrenched in a deeper problem like this as a family, as a caste, as a system. But the lesson that you have given us today, sir, educate people, sensitize people, and be grounded, keep doing your work, and don't go for labels or names of like leader or something. No privileges. Make a small difference to the society. 39 years of your struggle and 100 more years to your work, and great power to you and individuals like you to inspire us, to help us enlighten and realize and keep in touch with what we are losing. It's a great moment to listen to you, sir. Thank you so much. God bless you. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart that you have spared so much of your valuable time to help us realize all these things. On behalf of Professor Prasad, our Vice Chancellor, and hundreds of people who are watching this from across the country and the world around, I thank you once again for this beautiful piece of advice and helping us connect with the deeper self and also the society around us. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Have a
sir.
good
Thank
day.
you so much. Thanks for all. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have finished a blockbuster kind of a session in terms of the help that we required. Actually, it is called help. Mr. Bezwada Wilson has helped us connect with ourselves and the society around us. And without becoming emotional, I want to tell you that we need to look at the next week. And next week, we are having another leader. He is Mr. Leo Fernandez. Mr. Leo Fernandez is going to talk about your journey and how you can create that journey from campus through your career. I think we will meet you next Friday on November 5th at 6:30 p.m. same time. Till then, do take care, reflect on what has been learned today, and get into some kind of course correction in your own small way. Even if it is not visible to others, let us make a small difference to the society around us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. You have enriched the entire discussion by your questions and participation. We are ever thankful to you. See you next Friday.